teaching explained. Now, it's not really explained, but it's just explaining how I do it. A lot of guys are asking me, there's a lot of subscribers that I've got that are new to the channel, new to shooting, or they're younger or whatever, and they're constantly asking me how I clean my shotguns. So I thought, rather than continuously replying, it's easier just to do a video and I can point them at that. Now, I'm not teaching anybody's grandmother to suck eggs here. Everyone's got their own methods. This is just what I do, but I know when I first got into shooting, I was a little bit perplexed about the best way to go about this, the easiest way. When I bought my shotgun, I had a Bisley kit, and it really wasn't very good, and it was a pain. So this is what I do. Now, to start with, as you've probably already gathered, I'm a bit of a Napier fanboy. This is Napier Bore Cleaner. It's very effective. If I'm honest, you don't really need anything else once you've got a can of this. I have got the oil as well, but you don't really need it. This will do the job on its own, to be honest. Now, you also need a bronze brush in 12 gauge. This is very important to get rid of all the lead and build up inside the barrel. You'll need a cleaning rod. Now, this is a Bisley rod. This will fit any attachment for cleaning your barrels. Now, the thing that's a bit different that I use, this is a Napier Jag. Now, I'll show you how this works in a minute, but it's not your traditional way of cleaning your bore, but in my opinion, it's very, very good. It's much better than using patches and things. And also, kind of optionally, but this is good to have as well, just a push-through rod, just to polish the bore when you finish. Not essential, and sometimes it can be a pain because it's a fluff come off, but it's good to have one of these too. Also, of course, some oily rags. Now, what I would suggest is, keep one of them as it is. The other one, when you're cleaning, you're going to be spraying onto this. Don't spray onto the gun. And then once you've finished, you can just use your sort of semi-oily rag just to sort of mop up any excess. What a lot of people tend to do, and I did it if I'm honest when I first got a shotgun, is to over-oil, and you don't want to do that. If you do that, potentially, even though to be fair this stuff is advertised at not harming wood, potentially, I know my dad said when he was a boy, one of his friends did this, potentially the oil can impregnate the wood and ruin your shotgun. And then, I mean, this is a 525. This is not a cheap gun, but this wood is worth way more than the steel. So if you ruin this wood, then you just throw the gun away and buy a new one, frankly. So it's not something you want to have. Now I'm just going to show you how dirty this gun is, because I've shot around about 150 to 200 rounds through this in the last week, mostly through clays. So if you look here, you should get a good idea about how horribly filthy this gun is. So to start with, you just want to get your bronze brush, screw them onto the rod. You don't necessarily have to do this every time, to be fair. I mean, if you've only fired a couple of shots through here, you probably don't need to bother. But what this is for is to get rid of a build-up of any lead. What you'll tend to find is the chamber in your gun. All guns are obviously chambered for what they're chambered for. This is for 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells. Obviously some go 3.5 as well. But you'll find that the area in the barrel where the cartridge sits, just in front of where the cartridge opens, you'll get like a ring of dirt. You may have seen when I showed you the cut of the dirty barrel. There's a particular ring of dirt that you need to get access to. A bronze brush is ideal for this. So, fairly self-explanatory. Sorry, I've got limited room here. I'll try and go side on. So, just put this down here and give it a good scrub. All the way to the bottom, but most of all, around this area here, towards the top. And when you're coming out the bottom, be careful when it comes out the end, because what can happen is, my dad found out, from doing this at my dad's house, is that it can spray everywhere, horrible dirt, and they can get onto the walls and things, and I've got in a bit of trouble, to be honest. So do that one. Same on the other one. Really sort of decent scrub where the chamber is, and then down to the bottom as well. This just to loosen everything up, get it all nice. That should be enough, to be fair. Now you can take this off, and what I would do is give it another quick spray with bore cleaner, just to give it another layer, just a squirt. Now, this is the thing I was talking about before, which is what I do differently to most people. This is the Napier Jag. It's basically just a piece of plastic with like a cutout in the middle. And you just screw this onto the end of your rod. Screw that on. Then you need some Napier Super Clean, which is like sort of it's a bit like loo roll. Don't use loo roll. Don't do that. But it looks a bit like loo roll. So you want to take it out, as you can see. And to take off a length, usually something like about, I don't know, about that. You can cut it down if you need to. Tear that off. Put them in there. And if you get your rod, I tend to use a knife for this, just to split open the plastic, like that. And then get the sort of loo roll. You'll notice on one side it's textured, so, well, it doesn't matter at this point, but you'll make sure that texture's wrapped around the outside, if you see what I mean. So you can see I've just got, oh, I did have it on the Jag, hang on. Thread it onto the Jag, pull the blade out, and then you can get that onto there. Check which is the textured side, and then you just wrap this around the Jag. Now, you want to do it fairly tight, and you'll need this. It takes a bit of judgment, to be fair, because you don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin either. So you want it just right to fit down the bore of the gun. With practice, you'll kind of get used to it, if I'm honest. And what you can find is if you put it down the barrel and it's a bit thin, take it out and sort of fatten it up a bit, and you're away. And I've got a bit too much down there. So that should be enough. So you can see basically I've just got sort of loo roll type stuff wrapped around the barrel, wrapped around the Jag. You just take your barrels, poke it in, so that's quite a nice fit, and then you can scrub the bore out. You can see already that's taking out loads and loads of the loose lead that we loosened with the bronze rod. So give that a good scrub, poke it out at the end when you're finished, just to take any excess off the chokes. And then again in the second one. So now it's feeling a little bit loose because it's got loosened up. So what you can do is you just unravel it a bit and then just tighten it up. Just get it a bit thicker. That's it. If you want, you can, you can use another layer and just, as many times as you like, really. Now, doing this, you should get it pretty much clean, to be honest. I'll just look down the barrels. You can't see it at the moment, but I'll show you in a minute or two. Yeah, so that's pretty clean now. It's not bad. Might give it another go over. What you can also do, so you don't waste too much of this, is then wrap it back on itself. So you can use the other side. Ooh, torn a bit there. Again, just keep, as long as you wrap it up, it should be okay. Down the barrel. Again, particularly taking attention to the bore, where the actual the chamber where the cartridge goes in. It's a bit tore off there, doesn't matter. And there we are. It's looking all right now. Now to finish it off, what I like to do is use this. If you're keeping it for a long time, it's generally advised you put a bit of oil in at this point. It's up to you, really. Personally, I probably will, just to show you, but I don't necessarily. It depends when I'm next going to use it, really. And a little bit of a spray, and then you can get this. Put this down the rod, down the barrel. Give it a good scrub. Now the thing that's annoying with doing this is you do sometimes get bits of hair coming off it into the gun, but don't worry about it too much. It's a nice way to polish it and to take off any excess that you missed with the the rod. If I look down there, it's looking pretty good. There's a slightly dirty spot there. Okay, so that's done now. Put that out of the way. And that. Now, the last thing to do is to clean your barrels. Now again, what you don't want to do is spray onto the gun, because it will just run off the barrel and go all over the wood. So what I would normally do is get my one oily rag and ready to have some oil sprayed on it, and the other one I'm just going to leave to one side. So in fact you can use the other one to hold the barrel while you do it. It's a bit of oil. Again, I could just use ball cleaner, it does the same job. And then just give that a wipe down. What you can do when you're doing this as well, because what you'll notice is you'll get bits of fluff on the other rod down the barrel. So you can put your fingers in there, and I just felt the choke undo then. Let's tighten that up. I haven't actually got the key on me, so I can't do it properly. And that one too. And just give it a good rub down, again depending on how much it needs it. So there we are. And I can just use that to hold it again, and rub this side down as well. Put my fingers in this hole, just in the end of the barrel, just get the excess off. And what you can use this for, that you haven't sprayed oil on, is just take off any excess oil. But don't worry about it too much now, because we'll do it when we put the gun back together again. So you put the barrels back onto the gun, and the fore end back on. Put that to one side, get the rag that hasn't got too much oil on, and I think it was this one. I don't know now, but either way, ideally the one that hasn't got too much oil on, and just give it a rub down and just take off any excess, and that's it. That's now pretty clean. In fact, again, if you look here, you should see it's a lot cleaner now. Now what I would perhaps suggest, if you're going to store this for a long time, when you put it in the cabinet, most cabinets, it's going to stand like that. Now what will happen is, when you come back to use it, if you've had it for a while in the cabinet, in here you'll get a couple of like rings of oil, because it's just run back down the barrel. So what I'd suggest is taking the barrels off and putting them in the cabinet separately, even if you just do it overnight and then put the gun back together again the following morning, because it'll just stop that happening. So I think that's all there is to say really. As I said, doing chokes is probably a separate thing that I might do in another video. The thing you might want to be careful of, I can't do now because I've got oil all over my hands, but is to get something like a towel or something that hasn't got oil on it, and just giving your wood a bit of a wipe down before you put it away, just to take off any excess oil. So I hope you found that useful. Like I said, this is just how I do it, but I may have answered a few questions for some of you. So as I always say, like and subscribe.